and welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today is another Q&A with the Duchess of Suds, and I've been looking forward to this. I asked you guys on Facebook and on Instagram for some questions that you had for me that you maybe wanted to have answered. I've gotten a lot of comments and stuff on YouTube, lots and lots and lots of questions coming in, and I haven't been able to get to the good majority of them, so I thought, what better way to do this than just sitting down and doing a Q&A. So let me get some of the ones from Instagram first. Let's see. Lewis20 says, I have a question, will you do a review of my soaps? So the way my reviews work is every December I send out this massive Facebook post, and it's like, hey, if you're interested in being a royal review, do this. And it includes instructions for how to send me an email and what to put up into the subject area so that I can keep everything organized. And then I go through all of them. Sometimes I have the queen help me, other times I've done it just myself. And then I will pick the reviews based on the emails that I have been sent. And yeah, so if you want to be a royal review, if you're interested in sending me stuff to be reviewed, be on the lookout in December, so maybe I can pick you for 2016 royal review. The Anna Claudia CZ asks, how long did it take you to become completely happy with your recipe? Well, considering the fact that I continue to change my recipe, I would say I haven't gotten there yet. I really like variety. I like trying new things. I like adding new ingredients, and I kind of will stick with a recipe for like 6 months, and then I'll change it, and then I'll find another one, and then I'll stick with that one. I think I did say in a couple of older videos, oh yeah, I found the one I'm sticking with. But here we are now, and I have changed again. So I still haven't found what I guess that is a magic recipe that some soap makers find, and then they're like, I'll never change again. This is what I'm soaping with for eternity. Well, that's not me. I'm too flaky for that. Acid Catalyst asks, can you give us a few spoilers on your cottage? Yes, I can. I will tell you that there's going to be a window seat, which I have always wanted, so I'm really excited about that. There's going to be a window seat. I'm going to have fluorescent lights all in my soap making area. And that the top room is actually being split in half, so my brother can use it for his computer gaming, all that kind of stuff. I don't even know what you're gonna call that. I don't know. He's a video game developer, so whatever space those type of people need. And then I'm gonna have all of my filming equipment and all of that kind of stuff up in my room and everything. Plus we'll have some stuff downstairs. I do believe we're going to have surround sound, which is going to be fun. And we're going to have a great big flat screen TV. So there's some spoilers. What is the best way to figure out how much fragrance oil to add? Okay, so on any reliable soap making sites, they're going to have listed the maximum percentage that you can use the fragrance oil in cold process soap, in perfumes, and melt and pour. It's different for every single fragrance oil. So you need to take a really individual approach to that. Most of the time the maximum percentage is 5%. For the fragrance oils here in America. I have seen some of the ones being sold in Europe that I'm supposing have a higher concentration, and theirs was a maximum of 3%, I think. That's kind of basic across the board, but be sure that you're looking on each individual listing and seeing what the IFRA says about that. Soft and Sweet Soaps asks, what temps do you combine your lye and oils? Well, that changes depending on the recipe that I'm using. I like to soap at room temperature, but if I'm not soaping at room temperature, it's anywhere between 100 degrees and 120. I hardly ever soap at 120 anymore. Most of the time it's between 85 degrees and 110, which is kind of a big spectrum there, but it just depends on the recipe. Are you a wing it or a design it all before making soaper? I'm a design it all before making it soaper who ends up winging it. It depends on what kind of a mood I'm in. I am very much someone who is led by moods when it comes to creating and doing artistry. Sometimes I feel like I smell something and I just want to mix up a whole bunch of colors and pour it as I want. Sometimes I plan things out to the most intricate detail. Like having 6 different colors in there of very specific shades poured in a very specific way. It honestly, it really does just depend on the mood that I'm in. Hannah B83, that is so cute, asks, I have recently turned vegan and wondered if you knew any good suppliers of melt and pour that is cruelty free. Love all your designs and videos. Thank you. I do actually. Elements Bath and Body has some that I know are cruelty vegan free. SFIC is a supplier of melt and pour. And I do believe that everything they have is vegan friendly, cruelty free. You'll have to check that one, but I think that that's right. Now we're gonna move to Facebook. Alrighty, Facebook. So the top question on Facebook is from Chris Leatherwood, and he says, I know you protect all your signature recipes, but would you consider creating one that you would share on your channel so we can all work along with you sometime, like an interactive experience? What an incredibly good idea. Believe it or not, I had actually thought about that when I made this soap and when I made this soap, and I used the same base recipe for both of those soaps, and I actually think that that recipe is pretty common in the soap world, but even though it's common, even though it's simple, it makes a great bar of soap, so that's the one that I was using. I will be leaving that recipe down there. It's the basic 30-30-35-5 recipe, which means 30% olive, 30% coconut, 30% palm, 5% castor, 5% sweet almond. But it's super easy to work with. The bar comes out really hard and it has really good scent retention. So in the next couple of videos that I'll be making, I'll be using that one, and then for half of the water or the liquid portion of the recipe, I'll be using coconut milk. Really just because I love what coconut milk does to a soap, makes it really slickery and makes it bubble a bunch. So yes, I will provide you with a recipe. That was a very good idea, I'll give you credit for it. Rebecca Jenkins Miller says, forget the questions, I'm just excited to see the new video. Hashtag on with the show. That's freaking awesome. Ashley Smith says, what do you consider your soaping masterpiece? And on the flip side, your greatest fail? Oh my gosh, I've made so many masterpieces. I don't know which one to choose. I'm gonna say probably the Mystical Mermaid Treasure Soap. I think that was the second time that I created it in that picture up there, and I'm really proud of that one. I really love the way it turned out. It's one of those times where everything just sort of turns out the way it's supposed to. So I think probably that one. As far as greatest soaping fail, one time, I know. One time I piped an entire batch, like a whole 17 bar loaf. I piped the whole thing, put all the embeds on. It was a sugared strawberry. It was actually a custom order sugared strawberry that I made like a long time ago. And I piped it all, woohoo, had it set. I set it up on the counter, and I had accidentally doubled the lye water amount that I was supposed to have put in there because I didn't tweak the recipe. I set it on the counter and the entire top slid off. It was such a mess. It was on the floor, it was on the counter, and I had put a mica oil drizzle on top, so that stuff was just oozing off everywhere. It was so bad. It was so bad. Tanja Walker Fellage, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, y'all know how I am about names, asked tips on advertising on Facebook. So I've never actually done like ads on Facebook. I just try to post often. Anything I do on social media like YouTube or stuff like that, I just post something on there. I'm really not like a social media marketing expert. Anything that I do on the blog, giveaways. I like to ask you guys questions, but I don't really even think about that as marketing. It's just sort of like, hey, how are y'all doing? I'm just sort of checking on you and trying to keep y'all updated and stuff. So I'm not a very good person to ask. Probably just because I wing it most of the time. So LSE Ray asks, you use melt and pour for a lot of your embeds. Do you ever get criticism for using it? I make hot process and started using melt and pour because people kept asking for it, but I get the occasional issue from other soapers. No, I really haven't. I mean, I think that that's something that is sort of a personal choice, honestly. I mean, I know some soap makers that strictly use cold process. I know some people that like to use melt and pour. I think melt and pour as embeds is a generally accepted thing in the soaping community. It's just a lot faster. You have a lot more versatility involved. I don't see any problem with it, and I don't think that I've ever had any issues with that. Kate Otwell asks, how do you stay motivated? And that's funny because this is actually a question that lots of people have asked. And I did actually really have to think about this. I have a blog post that's going to come out and a video as well for 10 tips to stay inspired, but being inspired and being motivated are two different things. So for motivation, for me, my primary motivator is you guys. And I'm not saying that to be corny, I'm saying that for real. To me, Royalty Soaps is about the people. It's about the people that I am communicating with. It's about the people that I am giving to. It's something that I'm doing because I want to love other people. So even though I do love soap and making soap is awesome and fantastic, my primary goal is, you know, reaching people and making them feel loved and putting a smile on their face and stuff. So honestly, my motivation is you guys, and you know, knowing, hey, they are going to expect a video every week because I said I'll do a video every week. So I know, yeah, I have to get that video done. I have to get that video uploaded. I know that you guys are going to want to see new stuff in the Etsy shop, so I try to make sure that I continue to put stuff in there. So really, the main motivation is people. It's really people. Jeanette Turberville Lassiter asks, do you have a dishwasher or do you wash your pots and pans by hand? I wash them all by hand and it stinks. Out of the whole process of like YouTubing and soap making, because I'm kind of like immersed in both worlds. I'm like a YouTuber, I'm also a soap maker, and out of both of the business things that I'm having to juggle and manage and all the paperwork and all of the ingredients and all of the purchasing of supplies and blah blah blah, the thing I hate the absolute most is washing dishes. Rebecca Olson asks, how do you always keep that smile? Your videos are so uplifting and an inspiration. Keep up the great work. That's really sweet, thank you. You know, it's funny, I have always been a really smiley person in general. I think that happens naturally, like when I go out to the store or when I'm out by myself, that's like my resting face. Like, y'all know that there are certain faces they call the resting, like, face. Like, my resting face is just smiley, so I have a lot to be happy about. I think there's lots of things in life that are joyful, that can bring you joy if you will let them, and delighting in the little things is another way that I just sort of stay happy all the time. I am super easily entertained. I am so easy to please. I mean, super easy to please. So yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy to keep a smile on my face because there's lots of things that make me happy. Okay, and then I'm gonna do two more from Instagram because I found them and I liked them. Cool Girl 17 asks, how do I start soap making? The best place to start, I would say would probably be on the internet looking through some basic soap making videos. I will leave a link below to the Soap Queen channel and to the Soaping 101 channel. They have really informative and instructive videos on how to get you started, even some good places to get supplies, that sort of thing. I also have a video called like 10 tips for newbies. You can watch that. That should also help get you started. But familiarize yourself a little bit with the soaping process before you dive right in, and then get yourself some supplies, and girl, you just go for it. And then the last question I have here is Leah_LT, and she asks, what lessons did the Queen teach you that helps you in your business? I think she did a great job with you. That's really sweet, thank you. She has given me so much wisdom, so much good advice. I think she kind of helped me establish boundaries in both my personal relationships and my business relationships, and that was super, super helpful, and I think saved me a lot of unnecessary pain. The other thing that I think she really helped me out with was accepting mistakes. I'm a perfectionist, and I really like things to turn out right the first time, and then if they don't turn out right, I really beat myself up for it. So she did an excellent job of going, hey, you know, everyone makes mistakes, nobody's perfect, it's okay. You know, dust yourself off and try again. And that is something that was just, it's so pivotal to learn that, especially as a business owner, because you're not going to do everything perfect the first time. It's okay to go ahead and mess up, and instead of letting that beat you down, let it build you up instead, so that you can continue to do better and learn from it and get better and better and better as you go along. So I hope this answered a couple of your questions, guys. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, maybe even leave me a comment below. And I can't wait to see you all soon. So until next time, bye for now!